Schoolhouse is following the restoration of an historic school building in Dracut, Massachusetts. They are restoring the old schoolhouse and turning it into 9 affordable housing units for veterans. And part of the work includes the windows, which is why we've come here to see Alison Hardy, also known as the Window Woman. Hey, Alison.
Hi, Kevin.
Great to see you again.
Nice to see you.
Thanks for having us to the shop and for the work you're doing for us at the school.
Glad you could come here.
What are you doing? You're a dying breed.
We are. There are not enough of us, clearly, but
There definitely are not.
But it's a labor of love, so we do it.
So restoration instead of replacement.
Correct.
Defend that. Why is that a good idea?
So, you know, we're working on products that were built 100 years ago, and they're still in good, serviceable condition. They look terrible because of paint, but usually under all that paint is really good construction and really good wood. So we'd rather save it than throw it in a landfill.
So one of the things that we hear a lot from folks when we're dealing with homeowners is they're worried about efficiency. They assume that a brand new window with all the modern things that come with it, you know, sort of the inert gases and the 2 panes of glass and all of that, that the efficiency is way better.
Right.
True? Not true?
No, that's not true. We have worked with a number of building energy scientists who come and set up the blower door test and the infrared camera and examine our windows versus new windows, and there's really not much difference. But again, our windows are well maintained, they're weather stripped, they lock and close. So all those things that seem very simple, but they all add up to energy efficiency.
Well, we are convinced, as you know, we've used in the past. I've used it personally on my house, so we're believers as well. And are these the windows that we pulled out of the school right here?
These are some of the Dracut school windows.
Okay, so most people would be scared by what they're looking at. This doesn't scare you at all?
They look pretty bad. We think they're ready for restoration.
You do.
These actually, and if you look, like, you know, the joints are still good and strong. The wood here is not broken. Somebody tried weather stripping.
You could do better than that, right?
Yes. You know, there's a pane of glass missing. We have glass.
It was a school after all.
It was a school.
And so here they are. What's the process for you to start work on all of these windows?
We assume that everything has lead paint on it. And we are going to make sure that we work in the safest way possible to get the paint off of it so that we can do the rest of the work. So we start with a steam process.
So this is your steamer.
This is our steam stripper.
Full house.
Yes. So the windows go in here anywhere from 15 minutes to a couple hours, depending on the type of paint that they are and the type of putty.
And does everything just get steamed? You just start with steaming pretty much?
We don't steam the bigger panes of glass because there is some heat stress and you can break the glass.
Right.
But this is fabulous for taking smaller panes of glass out.
Wow, and look how fast the old putty comes out.
Yeah.
Oh, and the glass too.
Right.
Okay, so he's done this before.
Yes, Mark is very good at this. We custom built these downdraft tables. They have a pre-filter, a HEPA filter, and a fan. So the air is drawn down and away from the worker's face, so we don't have to wear respirators. After the windows have been in the steamer, we let them dry. We don't want to scrape wet wood, it tends to pull the grain. But what's happened in the steamer is that bond of the paint to the wood is now a lot looser than it was. You can see how bubbly it is. And it comes off fairly easily.
Although it's
with skilled hands.
Right, and it still is hand scraping.
It is still hand scraping. There is no magic machine for paint removal. All of the parts of a window serve a function. These glazing bars serve to hold the glass pieces apart. They frequently get damaged. This one in particular is a very common repair that we do.
And are you matching species as well as sort of the design?
We do. This is Eastern White Pine, which is 90% of the windows that we find here in New England.
Right.
So once the repairs are done, they're ready for glazing.
Okay, and putty goes in first?
Correct. We want to do a nice soft bed of putty for the glass to rest on. So once the bedding's all ready, then the glass, which has already been cut and fit to this window, will get placed in. So once the glass is bedded, we need to make sure it stays in there, so we put in glazing points.
Just a little dart almost.
It's just a little piece of metal to hold the glass in place. What Mary's doing is tooling the putty so that it makes a nice line. We want the water to shed off the glass, so it has to be at that angle. After glazing, they go to paint, and that's the last step before we install them. Kevin, I'd like you to meet Dylan.
Hi, Dylan.
Good to meet you.
This is the round window that came from the gable end of the building, right on the front of the building. As you know, we will try to restore everything, but every now and then we come to one that really just can't be restored.
And this is one of those?
This is one of those.
Okay. How do you go about rebuilding it?
I tried to get as much information as I could off the window. So going from these pieces, I started with a template, then actually went to the school and fitted in the opening just to make sure before I spent all the time building the window that we know it's going to fit.
So this is size of the window, but then also the pattern that you determined was in the inside?
Yeah, so after I confirmed that it fit, I came back and started laying out some of the geometry to do the tenon joints on the window.
Gotcha. And from the template, then what?
From the template, then we go to, again, Eastern White Pine.
So you're taking this little piece right here is effectively one of these arches on the template.
Exactly. And
Put it on a full size, full thickness piece.
Yep.
And so is that what you started over there?
Yeah, so this is basically the next step after we get the outside radius.
So you get 3 pieces there sort of mocked up, right?
3 pieces here, the tenons fit together, and now I can start laying out the inside radius.
Right, and then you just replicate this, then you get the other half for a full circle.
Exactly.
Which is what I'm seeing behind you right there.
So, and this is the next step.
Look at that. So let me just check out your, oh, look at this joinery right here. So this is true to the original window, and you've tried to replicate that?
Yep, that's exactly how they did the original window.
Look at that, that is terrific. And that'll go together there, and this gives you the whole circumference. How do you machine this? You start with something like this. How do we end up going down to this profile?
So after I use the pattern following bit to clean up that edge, then it gets run through a profiling bit, which will cut that sash OG on whatever we run through it. So those same knives will cut all the mutton stock for this window as well.
So we end up with how many lights? Looks like 4, Allison?
It's a 4-light window.
But that is awesome. I mean, Dylan, beautiful work, thank you.
Thank
and
you.
Allison, it's great that you guys can save all these windows, keep all this stuff sort of back, and keep it in circulation.
And build new when we have to.
Right, perfect. Thank you. Thanks for watching. This Old House has got a video for just about every home improvement project, so be sure to check out the others. And if you like what you see, click on the subscribe button to make sure that you get our newest videos right in your feed.